August 2015, a small town in southwestern Poland. Two men walk into a lawyer's office with an extraordinary claim. They found a Nazi gold train. Not just any train, a legendary armored train supposedly loaded with gold, jewels, and artwork stolen by the Nazis, hidden in a secret tunnel as the Third Reich collapsed in 1945. For 70 years, treasure hunters have searched for this train. Thousands of hours, millions of dollars, countless excavations, all found nothing. But these two men claim to have proof: ground-penetrating radar images, precise coordinates, evidence of a 100-meter-long train buried beneath the mountains near Waldbrich. Within days, the story goes global. CNN, BBC, every major news outlet: Nazi gold train found in Poland. The Polish government holds press conferences. Tourism explodes. The small town becomes international news. Treasure hunters from around the world descend on Poland. There is just one problem: the train doesn't exist. This is the story of the greatest treasure hunt hoax of the 21st century. How two men fooled the world, and why people desperately wanted to believe in Nazi gold.
To understand how the world fell for this hoax, you need to understand the legend, and the legend has roots in history. Nazi plunder, the reality. During World War II, Nazi Germany systematically looted occupied territories: gold, jewelry, artwork, cultural treasures, personal belongings of Holocaust victims. The scale was staggering. Entire museum collections stolen. Gold fillings taken from concentration camp victims. National treasuries emptied. Private collections seized. Churches and synagogues stripped. Estimates: billions of dollars in today's value. Much of this was never recovered. The collapse and the chaos. By early 1945, Germany was collapsing. Soviet forces advanced from the east, Allied forces from the west. Nazi officials panicked. They tried to hide or move their stolen wealth. Some was buried, some was hidden in mines, some was loaded onto trains and moved somewhere. The chaos of the final months created perfect conditions for legends to emerge. The Waldbrich region. Southwestern Poland, formerly German Silesia, became central to Nazi gold legends. Why? Project Risa, or Giant. Between 1943 and 1945, the Nazis built a massive underground complex in the mountains near Waldbrich. Miles of tunnels, underground facilities. Purpose? Unknown. Headquarters? Weapons factory? Shelter? Never completed before war ended. These real tunnels fueled imaginations. If the Nazis built secret underground facilities, what else might be hidden in there? The Amber Room. One specific legend became intertwined with the gold train. The Amber Room, a priceless chamber of amber panels, gold, and jewels from Russia's Catherine Palace. The Nazis looted it in 1941. It was last seen in Königsberg, now Kaliningrad. Then it vanished. Some believed it was hidden in the Waldbrich tunnels. Others thought it was on a train. The gold train legend takes shape. By 1950s, stories circulated, and a German officer confessed on his deathbed, "I helped hide a train of gold in a secret tunnel. It's still there." Another account, a German woman claimed her father helped seal a tunnel with a train inside. Coordinates: she didn't remember exactly. More stories. Miners who worked in the region claimed to have seen or heard about sealed tunnels, strange tunnel entrances, underground chambers. Every few years, someone would claim to have found it. Expeditions were launched, excavations done, ground-penetrating radar deployed. Nothing was ever found, but the legend persisted. Why people believed? Several factors kept the legend alive. Real Nazi gold was found. Throughout the decades, caches of Nazi loot were discovered, gold buried in lakes, art hidden in salt mines. This proved Nazis had hidden things. The region's history. The real Project Risa tunnels existed. Secret Nazi facilities were fact, not fiction. Economic desperation. Post-communist Poland struggled economically. The dream of finding treasure was appealing. Treasure hunter culture. Books, documentaries, and websites kept the legend alive. Each telling added details, making it seem more real. By 2015, the legend of the Nazi gold train was well established in treasure hunter circles. All it needed was someone to claim they had found it, and someone to believe them.
August 2015. A lawyer in Walbridge named Yaroslav Hemulevsky receives an interesting call. Two men want to meet with him. They have something extraordinary to discuss. The claimants. The two men, Piotr Koper, a Polish businessman and amateur treasure hunter, Andreas Richter, a German national, also a treasure enthusiast. They presented their story. Using old wartime documents and ground-penetrating radar, they'd located a 100-meter-long train buried in a tunnel near Walbridge. The radar images showed something underground, the size and shape consistent with an armored train. They believed it was the legendary Nazi gold train. The legal strategy. Here's where it gets interesting. Polish law states that anyone who finds historical treasure must report it to authorities. In exchange, the finder receives a 10% reward of the treasure's value. Koper and Richter were playing by the rules. They were officially reporting their find. But they had a condition. They wanted legal representation and protection of their coordinates until a deal was struck with the government. Lawyer Hemulevsky agreed to represent them. The announcement. Late August 2015. The story leaked to media. A Nazi gold train found in Poland, possibly containing gold, jewelry, and the lost amber room. Estimated value? Billions of dollars. The story exploded globally. Media frenzy. Within 48 hours, every major news organization covered the story. Nazi gold train trended worldwide on social media. News helicopters circled the alleged site. Treasure hunters descended on Walbridge. Polish authorities held emergency meetings. The Polish government took it seriously. They issued statements urging caution. They warned of possible explosives or booby traps. They organized official investigation teams. The evidence presented. Koper and Richter showed ground-penetrating radar images, showed something underground, about 100 meters long, could be interpreted as a train. Historical research. Documents suggesting trains were hidden in the area in 1945. Local testimony. Some elderly residents claim to remember rumors of a hidden train. Logic. The Project Risa tunnels existed. Why not a train? The world wants to believe it's true. Here's the key. The world wanted this to be true. For Poland, tourism boost, international attention, national pride. For treasure hunters, validation of decades of searching. For media, an irresistible story. Nazis, gold, mystery. Perfect. For the public, excitement, adventure, the possibility of a real treasure hunt. Even skeptics couldn't completely dismiss it. After all, stranger things had been found. The official investigation began. September 2015. The site. Authorities identified the alleged location, a hillside near Walbridge. Security was established. The area was cordoned. Geological surveys were ordered. Multiple teams with ground-penetrating radar were deployed. The Polish government announced, "We are investigating the claims seriously. We will determine the truth." The world waited.
Fall 2015 into 2016. Multiple investigation teams descended on the site with sophisticated equipment. The technical investigation. Ground-penetrating radar, GPR. Multiple teams conducted independent scans. Polish geological institutes, university researchers, private companies. GPR works by sending radar pulses into the ground and measuring reflections. Different materials reflect differently. Initial scans showed something. Underground anomalies. But what? Seismic testing. Scientists used seismic sensors to detect underground cavities or structures. Results? Inconclusive. Drilling. Small exploratory boreholes were drilled. Results? Natural rock formations. No tunnel. No train. Historical research. Archival researchers examined every available document about Nazi activities in the area. They found records of Project Rice construction, documented train movements in the region, but no specific evidence of a hidden treasure train. The scientists' verdict. By December 2015, multiple scientific teams reached similar conclusions. Dr. Janusz Mare of Krakow School of Mining. Our GPR shows no evidence of a train. The underground anomalies are natural geological formations. Geological Institute team. We found no human-made structures at the alleged location. Professor Piotr Dombrowski. The radar images presented by the claimants have been misinterpreted. What they show is likely rock layers, not a train. But Koper and Richter insisted, the train is there, dig deeper. The media split. By early 2016, media coverage divided. Skeptical coverage. Nazi gold train probably doesn't exist. Scientists found no evidence. Treasure hunt fizzles. Hopeful coverage. The train still might be there. Deeper excavation needed. Mystery continues. The Polish government faced pressure. Tourism had boomed. The town of Wałbrzych had become internationally famous. But science was saying, there's nothing there. The final excavation. August 2016, 1 year after the announcement. The Polish government authorized limited excavation at the exact coordinates provided by Koper and Richter. Heavy machinery moved in. Cameras from around the world watched. They dug, and found nothing. Just rock. Natural geological formations. No tunnel. No train. No gold. The verdict. August 2016, the Polish authorities made the official announcement. After extensive investigation, we conclude there is no Nazi gold train at the indicated location. The search is over. The legend was officially dead. Or was it? Koper and Richter's response. The two men didn't admit defeat. They claimed, the train is there, just not exactly where we said. We need to look nearby. They launched a crowdfunding campaign to fund further searches. Some supporters still believed them, most didn't. The fallout. For Poland, embarrassment, international mockery, but also millions in tourism revenue. Wałbrzych have been put on the map. For treasure hunters, disappointment, but the legend lived on, just not at that specific spot. For media, egg on their faces. They had promoted a story without sufficient evidence. For Koper and Richter, they became infamous. Were they con men, delusional, genuine believers who were wrong? They never admitted to lying. They maintained the train existed, just elsewhere. So how did two amateur treasure hunters fool the world? The answer isn't simple, because in a sense, the world fooled itself. Why people believed. The evidence seemed plausible. Ground-penetrating radar images looked convincing to non-experts. The public saw evidence and assumed scientists confirmed it. They hadn't. Confirmation bias. People wanted to believe, so they interpreted ambiguous information as supporting evidence. The radar showed something underground, must be a train. Authority fallacy. Koper and Richter presented their findings through a lawyer. It seemed official, legitimate. The Polish government investigated seriously. That lent credibility. Media amplification. News organizations competed for clicks. Nazi gold train found gets more attention than possible underground anomaly detected. Headlines became more certain than the evidence warranted. The power of legend. The Nazi gold train legend had existed for 70 years. People had heard stories, seen documentaries. This just seemed like the legend finally coming true. Economic motivation. Walbrick's economy benefited enormously. Hotels filled, restaurants thrived, tourism boomed. Local officials had incentive to keep the story alive as long as possible. The psychology of treasure hunting. Humans are hardwired to respond to treasure stories. It's deep in our psychology. The possibility of sudden wealth, the romance of discovery, the excitement of mystery. These override rational skepticism. What about Koper and Richter? Were they con men or true believers? The evidence suggests a bit of both. They probably believed they'd found something. Their radar images showed anomalies, but they also played the media brilliantly, got legal protection, controlled the narrative. When proven wrong, they didn't admit defeat. They shifted the goalposts. Classic behavior of either scammers or people so invested in belief they can't accept reality. The aftermath. Years later, Koper continues searching for Nazi treasure in Poland. Richter returned to Germany. The legend of the Nazi gold train lives on. Other treasure hunters cite different locations. Walbrick still gets Nazi gold train tourists. The legend didn't die. It just moved. Real Nazi gold. Here's the irony. Real Nazi loot continues to be found, just not in dramatic train form. In 2021, a cache of Nazi-era coins was found in Poland. In 2019, gold jewelry from Holocaust victims was discovered in a German house. Real Nazi treasure exists. It's just not in legendary trains. It's in attics, in buried caches, in bank vaults. The truth is less romantic than the legend.
So, what do we make of the Nazi gold train hoax? Was it a deliberate fraud or an honest mistake amplified by wishful thinking? Probably both. The lessons. For media, extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Don't amplify stories before verification. For the public, skepticism isn't cynicism, it's wisdom. If something seems too good to be true. For treasure hunters, legends persist because they're exciting, but excitement isn't evidence. For all of us, we want to believe in hidden treasure, it's human nature, but reality rarely matches the legend. The real treasure. Here's a thought. Maybe the real treasure wasn't gold. Walbricht was a struggling town. The gold train story brought millions of tourists. Restaurants opened. Hotels thrived. The economy boomed. The legend created real economic value, even if the train was fake. Is that a kind of treasure, or just proof that hype can be profitable? The legend lives on. Today, you can take Nazi gold train tours in Walbricht, visit the Project Reese tunnels, See where the train might have been. Tour guides tell the story. They usually end with, "Nothing was found here, but maybe somewhere else." The legend has become tourism. The hoax has become history. And somewhere, someone is still searching. Because treasure legends never really die. They just wait for the next believer. The final question. Did Cooper and Richter fool the world? Or did the world fool itself by wanting to believe so desperately? Maybe the truth is, we're all a little bit treasure hunters. We all want to believe that somewhere, hidden beneath the earth, there's something extraordinary waiting to be found. Gold, jewels, ancient secrets, lost history. The Nazi gold train doesn't exist, but the dream that it might, that's immortal. And that's why this story, and stories like it, will never end. Because as long as there are legends, there will be believers. And as long as there are believers, there will be treasure hunts, even if the treasure is just a dream.